Iron Skillet Sports presents...
You know what it is. You know who it is. It's the Sizzle here on Iron Skillet Radio, Iron Skillet Television. Look, fellas, we've got to jump right into this. We've got to talk about something that I never thought I would see. The day that Tom Brady was wearing another jersey, and it's not a coach from Canton. It's not an all-star super team hero jersey. It is a Tampa Bay Buccaneers jersey. Are you gentlemen ready for Tom Brady, the Buck? The Buccaneer.
Hey, let me ask you. So he's still wearing the number 12, right?
Yeah. Right.
Okay. How well is that dye stuff? Because I don't really want to go out and buy a Tampa Bay jersey. If I could just change the color to the Bucks color from the Patriots, you think I can get away with that?
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe if you take the white jersey and then you put the little orange in it, and I don't know. It's terrible.
I got the blue one though.
Ooh, that's going to be a little bit harder. That's going to be that, my friend. I think you're going to have to put some red on it. You're going to. I don't know. You're going to have to do something. Rich Sizzle, you're going to have to find a new jersey. Jay Sizzle, being the resident Patriots aficionado, what are your thoughts about Tom Brady and the Bucks?
Super Bucks, Super Bowl, Super Bucks, Super Bowl. Look, let me tell you something right now, man. Tom Brady down there with the Gronk, down there with Chris Godwin. Who else has he got down there playing with him? Everybody. Yeah, dude. This is going to be a ridiculous amount of scoring opportunities going for the Bucks. You're talking about the original 30 and 30, Jameis Winston down there, who was going 30 touchdowns and 30 interceptions. Now we're going to cut those interceptions down to about 6. You know what I'm saying? We're going to cut. Now we're going to get 30 touchdowns. We're not going to get the turnovers. This is going to be one prolific offense with the Mad Hatter at the helm, the former New England Patriot, Tom Brady.
Do we really think that after what we saw last season with Tom Brady, that there's going to be a renaissance in his game from now Tampa Bay to being a title contender? Is that really what we're thinking, that Tampa Bay is going to make a run towards the Super Bowl, Rich?
They've got a good shot at it. Look at where the division is. The only team really got a little bit of fire is New Orleans, and that's if his line decides to play for him, given current things that Drew Brees has been saying and doing. But I digress. Right. That offense should be, he said 30 touchdowns. I'd probably give him more like 45 or 46 touchdowns. I mean, yeah, they got some work to do, but they've got an easier road just to get into the playoffs. And once you get into the playoffs, that experience that Brady and Gronk have might get them a few extra attaboys.
Okay, so that's what – Rich, what about the run game? I mean, we're talking about the passing game, but what about the run game for the Bucs? Is it suitable? I don't even remember who their running backs were. Even in a fantasy situation, I don't remember who their running backs were.
That's funny because I was trying to figure out who their running back was as well.
It won't matter who their running back is. You can put anybody back there.
So I can go back there and get the job done. Is that what you're telling me?
Hey, all you got to do is dive into the line and just do it, because it's play action passing all day long, baby. I'm telling you, this is going to be, look, Tom Brady with these weapons he's got sitting out there with Gronkowski. Look, Gronkowski takes one of you have to play a nickel package against the Patriots. If you do, Gronk is going to split out and he's just going to post up, and it's going to be 7 to 8, 10-yard completions from here on out. Who's stopping Gronk? Who's stopping him out there? You got to play a nickel defense now. I'm telling you, Tom Brady has changed everything for Tampa Bay. This offense is going to be way more prolific. I think it's going to be one of the best offenses you've ever seen that Tom Brady in. I really believe that, because now you got some speed on the outside, a real speed on the outside, and you got a Gronk For 18 months now. He's been healing up and he's ready to go. So I'm looking. This might be a whole new Tom Brady right here.
Okay, so let me ask you this, Jay. Was this a calculated plan by Tom Brady to go to the Bucs, or were the Bucs just the team that became where he could fit in and go to quickly? Did he really look at Tampa Bay and say, "This is where I want to go"?
After he made a text to Rob Gronkowski and said, "Hey, baby, I'm about to go down to Tampa Bay, and Florida don't have no state income tax." Gronk was like, "I'm with you.
Oh,
Wherever you want to go." Yeah, this was calculated. Brady had an idea where he wanted to go. He saw what Jameis Winston was able to do, destroy it down there. Because if it wasn't for Jameis, that offense should have been a lot better than what it was. You got a really good defense sitting down there ready to go. This team is primed and ready to go. I think other than I'm trying to think of another team that Tom could have went to that would have gave him the best shot to win right away. Let's look at it. If Tom Brady came to Chicago, what would that have been?
A ball managing quarterback with a dynamic defense. I mean,
right, but you don't have the offensive weapons sitting out there. And so I think what you saw right now, you saw what he didn't have in New England. He has there. He's got Evans. He's got Godwin. Now he's got Gronk. Hey, that's all he needs, man. He's going to tear people up with this offense.
Okay, so with that as a given, Rich, Sizzle, let me ask you this. Fantasy-wise, as far as it stands, the Bucs had some good fantasy players last year. Some I think were underrated. But what does this do now having Tom Brady in the mix? How do they get better fantasy-wise?
well, I don't like to enter into those kind of fantasy situations because, like Jay says, you've got Gronk, you've got Godwin, you've got Evans, and Tom Brady has always been you know what, this week I'm going to give you 6 touchdowns, and you're going to take a break. I've always kind of pulled my hair out when it came to predicting Patriot lore with who was going to do what. So I might try to stay away. I might actually go for Tom Brady as a quarterback if he's available 3rd or 4th round. I mean, you're still going to look at people like Mahomes and Lamar Jackson that are going to go very high. And I don't believe after that you go after a quarterback high, but he's the guy that you want to go after in a reasonable time. I might just say, hey, for tight end perspectives, Gronkowski is going to be your guy, but receiving wise, I might want to pass on that for somebody else that is going to get the high-end receptions. You don't know how many receptions are going to be passed around with that type of arsenal. So if you're in a PPR league, they might only get 4 receptions, albeit 140 yards and 2 touchdowns or something like that, you know what I'm saying? But versus the 8 receptions that you're going to get somewhere else, like with a Michael Thomas, that's going to be the guy you want to go with instead.
Yeah, with Michael Thomas, always a proven winner and a proven commodity. Jay, does this put Gronk back in the mix as the league's best tight end?
Yeah, it puts him up there in the top echelon. I still think he has it all depends on his health, to tell you the honest truth. But from the Bucs perspective, you're looking at a Chris Godwin who, if you were going to build a wide receiver for Tom Brady, this is the type of guy you would build: speed, athletic ability, jumping ability. And because of that, now you're going to have teams actually bracketing Chris Godwin, which is going to give Rob Gronkowski more time now to get open in the middle of the field. Also, you got O.J. Howard they got to deal with too. So I really think Rob Gronkowski is going to have one of his better receiving years this year, just because he doesn't have to deal with all that bracketing up over the top of teams trying to take him out of offense like they were able to do at New England, because they only had really one wide receiver the whole last 3 years that Tom Brady was there.
So let's look at it. We're talking about Tom Brady. We're talking about the Bucs. We're talking about them as far as where they fall at this point. And Rich, I'll throw it to you. When you look at the Bucs right now, where do they fall in the NFC as far as the teams that are there in the NFC?
On paper, they're right at the top. You tell me another team in the NFC. I mean, I don't know. Maybe you want to throw Green Bay in there. I mean, I don't know right now with the NFC. They are a big coin toss. If we were over in the AFC, I would say, yeah, they've got competition with Kansas City and Tennessee and Baltimore. But in the NFC, who knows? I'm gonna give the top spot right now on paper. Now, like I said, we don't know what's gonna happen. If we know Gronk and Brady have a chemistry. We don't know about the other ones. But like I said, with a defense that's pretty decent as well, they should have no problems at least being 1 or 2.
Now, Rich, as far as the Bucs are concerned, when you look at the Bears and you try and do a juxtaposition, you talk about defense versus offense. Where could the Bears stack up against the Bucs at this point?
You're gonna have 2 teams. The Bears that's not gonna be able to get anything going, which is gonna stagger the Bears defense, which will be able to slow them down, kind of like a story of last year's told. The Bears will come out great on defense for the first quarter and a half, maybe 2 quarters, and then they get tired, and then the team finally figures out a way to score at least 1 or 2 touchdowns, and that's your game, 14-10. But Tom Brady, who has never had a problem beating the Bears, probably because I think they do play them, and they'll probably like 35-7.
Wow, that is amazingly. Since we're talking about the Bears, Jay Sizzle, I heard, and this is just a rumor, but I heard in the streets that Mitchell Trubisky says he's about that life. He's about that QB life. He is the man. This is his team, and ain't nobody gonna come in here. Not even King Kong can stop him from doing his thing. Jay Sizzle, is Mitchell Trubisky the man in Chicago?
Mr. Trubisky ain't even the man in his own house. Look, let me tell you something. This guy should have been the man for 3 straight years when he had nobody. He had a little league coach, T-ball coach, as his backup, basically, who was out there catering and bringing him cupcakes out to the field. He had no pressure coming from the player who was behind him on the depth chart. And now all of a sudden, he comes in with basically, for lack of a better word, a journeyman quarterback in Nick Foles, who had a good year, but who's going to come in and win this starting job from Mitchell Trubisky. I'm telling you right now, all this man in the arena, that little thing he had hanging up behind him when he was doing his interview, this is a guy who's sensitive, and he should be sensitive because Nick Foles is going to be sitting in that number 1 starting job this year because this guy is not ready for prime time. He's already proven he's not ready for prime time. When the coach says, look, I had to dumb down this offense for him, and he wasn't ready to go, he's not going to be ready to go this year. So right now, I look at Nick Foles as being your number 1 starting quarterback, and we're going to go see if Mr. Trubisky can learn how to bake cupcakes.
When you said King Kong, I could totally see Mitch Trubisky going ham like Alonzo did Denzel on training day after the Bears said we're going to pick up Nick Foles. I totally saw that rant out of Mitch. I really did.
But the question is, Rich, is he good enough? Has he had enough time now during a pandemic? Can he redesign his game? Can he come back as a new transformed person? Can he be the Mitchell Trubisky that was picked high enough to be one of the best quarterbacks in the league?
This is a real question?
Yeah.
No.
I figured we throw it out there. Yes, it's a real question. We have to.
A real question.
We've been give Mitch a chance.
For how long? This is years in the process. This is like worse than a bad relationship. It's like, hey, I know you cheated on me 2 weeks ago. Are you gonna stop cheating on me? That's the 5th time you've cheated on me this month. I mean, can you stop cheating on me? No, he can't. No, he can't. He's proven he can't do the job. Come on, man. Get out of here.
Well, I mean, since you're leaving, I feel really bad for Allen Robinson. He's the person I really feel bad for because he's pushed all his chips all in, and he said he's going to be Chicago's best wide receiver, their best receiver.
I don't feel bad for Allen Robinson at all because regardless of how this ends out, he's gonna get paid.
Amen.
True.
He has shown he can be an alpha male receiver. He's gonna get paid. He's good. He can sit back and say, okay, well, hey, I'm still gonna get my 1,400 yards and a gaggle of touchdowns, and can't nobody guard me.
Yeah.
I'm the man out here. Hey, that's all good. Might not get a ring. He'll get that later on in his career if he decides to settle down and say, yeah, I'll go play for you, Lamar Jackson.
Wow, bro. Wow. Are you saying he's going to be a Raven, or are you saying Lamar Jackson is going to be a Bear?
Ah, man. Either way, Allen Robinson wins.
So we've got to get somebody. We got to get some help at the QB position. But going back to our original question, Tampa Bay and the Bucs. Are you guys ready for TB12 and the Bucs? Are you ready for this explosion of, I don't even know what you can call it. Explosion of what do you call it? Oneness with the quarterback in the world. Is he that great?
Well, look, let me explain something to you. The NFC, this is now the best team in the NFC. Put anybody else up there you want to. I don't care. Call out a name, throw out one. I'm telling you right now, with that defense that the Bucs have, they got a really good defense over there. And now you got weapons, and now you have one of the best quarterbacks doing it. I mean, right now, Tom Brady, let's think about this. Right now, at 42-year-old Tom Brady, is Tom Brady in the top 10 in quarterbacks in the league? Of course he is. Is he in the top 5 in the league? I would say so. So now you got a top 5 quarterback in the league, and you have given him all of this weaponry. This is like giving Bruce Lee a machine gun. All right, how are you going to beat this guy? You know what I'm saying? How are you going to do it? This guy's going to carve you up every which way he can. And guess what now? He knows every defense you run out there. He's going to tell you where your blitz back is coming from. He's going to tell you, that's not going to work. You know who's going to be open. Look, Tom Brady's going to be talking so much trash on the field, it's not going to even be funny. And he has a team right now that's hungry to win a championship, who knew they did not have a chance with Jameis Winston at the helm. The Bucs are beyond injury. The Bucs are going to be dangerous this year, absolutely dangerous. And Tom Brady might be smiling all the way to a 7th ring.
I do agree with you that they are going to be tough and they have a legitimate shot. I do think there is one team, though, that might have their number in the NFC. And I would say that would be the COVID-19s.
That's the only team that can stop them.
We will not tolerate such foolishness here. We cannot just keep doing this foolishness. But you know what it is. You know who it is. It's the Sizzle here on Iron Skillet Radio, Iron Skillet TV.